Hi my loves, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess from BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your weekly forecast for all signs for the week of February 5th. So before I get started, I really want to take some time to look into, you guys already know this about me, especially if you're old friends to the YouTube channel, I like to look into the week that just passed before I move into the week that we're moving into or that we're currently in. This is because although these transits happen in that moment on that day, whatever day it is, that energy still is felt and builds up throughout the rest of the week, and that's something that's really important for us to discuss. So if you would like to see the week before's video, you can see that link down below, but I'm also going to talk about these points now before I get started into talking more about what's ahead for the future. So the first thing that I want to talk about that I think is a really strong influence and energy that we're going to experience this week is the fact that last week on the 31st of January, we had that huge lunar eclipse in the sign of Leo. Now, lunar eclipses are full moons. They're super intensified, very emotional, and they have a tendency to bring things up to the surface, up to the top. Now, the biggest things that I see that, jump out in my mind's eye is the sacral chakra and creation, creativity, and being authentic, original, and shouting from the rooftops what you're passionate about and following your own way. This means that for many of you guys, you're going to be in a position where you kind of have to ask yourself where it is that you're compromising. Yes, that relationship or yes, that job may be worth it, but now it's time for you to kind of switch and move your focus to something that's a little bit different, a little bit more original, and push yourself and dive into that in order to build that up. I think it's very important that I mention the lunar eclipse for this week, simply because although the lunar eclipse happened a week ago, I really find it so imperative for me to remind you that you must take action, you must make moves based upon your passions, creativity, and expressing yourself and moving from a really authentic place. This is because the full moon, the universe, God, higher power, all of these things present opportunities for you and to you, but you have to be the one to act on them. And this full moon is so vital and so important. It brings a lot of things up to the surface, and it's for you to make a decision. In fact, the vision that I get at this moment is the picture of the Lover's card. And I think the reason why that is that the Lover's card, as romantic as it seems, is a lot about choice, and not just any type of regular choice, but difficult, hard decisions. And when you see the Lover's card, and when the Lover's card presents itself to us, and what I see with this Leo eclipse is you kind of have to make a decision, a choice, either this way or that way. There is no more in between, and that's why I'm saying there is no more compromise. You can't prioritize what's going to make someone else happier and to the detriment of your own self. Now is a huge time to be way more expressive, way more self-focused, and with a lot of the personal planets crowded in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about emotional detachment, doing things for the greater good, doing things for a larger purpose, and also stepping outside, being original, being authentic, and finding your own way, marching to the beat of your own drummer. With that, you really can't factor in what others are thinking, what others are saying, what others want for you. You have to do what's right for yourself. And the Lovers says you have to make a choice, and make that choice based upon what you just can't live without. If that's something that is golden to you and worthy and a priority for you, then the choice itself, although it's going to be difficult, the moves in that decision will in a lot of ways become effortless, and it'll make sense, it'll feel right. Making this choice will mean that there's certain things that you do have to let go of, and there's things that you do have to be stripped of and removed of, and 9 times out of 10, it's absolutely 100% for your highest and greatest good. You just have to be open to being transformed into your best self. If you're not open to being transformed into your best self, guess what? You're gonna miss opportunity, you're gonna stay stagnant, you're not gonna grow, and the blessings that God has for you, the blessings that God and the universe present to you are missed by you. You just stay in the same space, the same spot you've always been in, and it never gets any better. You have to apply the work, you have to do the work, you have to push yourself. You have to put yourself out there. If not, it's just going to be this wave that comes in, sweeps in, and takes things from you, actually. So I was saying so much about following your heart, following what feels right. And the metaphor that I used last week was that person who is, the image that I saw was this person who is sitting on the street corner with a microphone in their hand and a boombox, and they're singing at the top of their lungs. And they're doing it because they're passionate. Their voice is like any other, and no one can sing and entertain and connect with emotion in the way that that person does. And that's what it is that you want to find for yourself, is what is it that you love to do. Do that, put yourself in it, put yourself into it, invest yourself in it, and don't ask for advice, don't look for counsel. Just do what you have to do and strike out on your own in order to make it work. And it's all about building, preparing, sticking to it, and commitment. That's because Saturn, the planet of commitment, responsibilities, and structure, has been just recently started moving through the sign of Capricorn, and Capricorn focuses on the future and building up and building out for not just this year, not just 3 years from now, not just 10 years from now, but our entire lifetime. So this full moon eclipse, this super rare, powerful eclipse, happened in the sign of Leo, was this huge triggering point to all of that. Sitting directly opposite of the eclipse is the Sun and Venus and Mercury moving through the sign of Aquarius, telling you to strike out and to do things on your own, and to be independent, and to be an original thinker, and to not try and box yourself in, and to be bold. Leo, the energy of Leo is very bold, outrageous, out there, ego-centered and egocentric in the way that it's like, you know what, I am of worthy, like I am a good person, I'm beautiful, I'm stunning, I have a gift, let me share this, let me express this. This is what the energy of Leo wants to bring into your personal life. And it is a mistake, a very big mistake, to suppress that, to be overly humble, and to ignore your gifts, especially if it means sacrificing it for someone else. It's not worth it. The other thing that I see for this week is the fact that Venus is still moving through the sign of Aquarius, and will be for at least until the end of this week, and then it moves into the sign of Pisces. During this time, on the 4th, it exactly squares Jupiter. The 4th was on Sunday. I know we're talking about this week of February 6th, February 5th, but it still has an influence in the beginning of this week that I want you guys to be aware of. I was telling my followers, and I don't like calling you guys followers, I was telling my tribe on my live chat on Instagram, you know, you really want to be mindful of your spending and your spending habits. There is a tendency to kind of go over the top. There is a tendency to kind of, you know, risk it and you know, spend in a large way that we may later on regret. When I look at the chart, I see Venus square Jupiter as kind of like the walk of shame in a lot of ways, something that we kind of regret later on. We kind of overdid it, we overate, and almost like this hangover. And that's what I see with the chart as a whole, not just Venus square Jupiter. It's just the fact that, like, you know, Sun, Mercury, Venus are all in the sign of Aquarius, and this energy and element of unpredictability is still here, especially on the 6th, which we'll talk about in just a moment. It means that, like, we have this tendency to kind of, you know, maybe put money into, especially money, because Venus rules money and finance and beauty and aesthetic and love and relationships. But it's almost like we kind of regret the choices that we make within our relationships. Maybe we are not as appreciative in our relationships. Maybe we spend recklessly. Maybe we're not thinking about others to the point that is super detrimental to the relationship. So although I'm telling you to be independent, I'm not telling you to be stupid or disrespectful when it comes to relationships. Just want to put that out there. And the other thing too that I see for the sign for this week is the element of independence and space, needing space for yourself. Totally natural, healthy thing. The more time that you spend taking time for yourself and looking into the things that you're interested in now, outside of relationships, outside of your friendships, you know, doing your own thing, stepping outside of the box when it comes to maybe looking into different careers or different job opportunities if you're looking for a job. These are things that can really reward you simply because you're thinking differently, you're thinking outside of the box than what you normally, how you normally would do things, whatever that is. Whatever is traditional for you, I see people kind of deviating away from that and trying something new, trying it on for size and being like, hey, this works for me, or no, this doesn't work for me, but I did learn this from this experience, and just the value that comes from that is pure gold. So I see that. So I really do want to remind you guys to be very mindful about your spending on the 4th, definitely the 4th, 2 days before the 4th, and the 5th and the 6th and the 7th, just be really mindful. On the 7th is a Wednesday. The sun sitting in the sign, Venus sitting in the sign of Aquarius is going to be sextile Uranus, the planet of surprise and unexpected developments. Also, Uranus rules the energy of Aquarius, where Venus and Sun and Mercury are currently sitting. I see this as a really awesome day for like romantic surprises, things that we didn't see coming. This is a great time on Wednesday to go out and circulate, to meet new people, to try new things, to go on a spontaneous date. You'd be really surprised what the universe has for you during this time that can really kind of sweep you off your feet or just shock you in a pleasant way. Normally what shows up tends to be pretty positive. I have seen it for some people show up in like unexpected developments that at first kind of shock you and terrify you, but then over time they present themselves to be gifts, i.e. pregnancies. The chart itself at the moment doesn't look to be totally fertile when I'm looking at it, but anything can happen. And you know, I'm looking at a general chart reading for everyone. I'm not looking into my, my client's personal chart or your personal chart. I'm looking at the general. So it totally ranges depending on who and what is going on. So I see that, but I really just wanted you to be aware that if you were going to go on a spontaneous date, or if you wanted to meet someone spontaneously or do something different, the 7th would be the perfect day to do that. This week is very quiet. You'll see that in like how I'm not really talking about a whole lot of things. For this week, Venus moves into the sign of Pisces on the 10th, which is a Saturday. I love this. So signs and planets play favorites, and Venus loves the planet Pisces loves the planet Venus. In fact, Pisces exalts the energy of Venus. She's just spinning around in a circle like that one girl from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Is that what it is? Where she's like, I'm gone with the wind, fabulous honey, and like spins around in the circle. That's what Venus and Pisces is, only a little less arrogant. She's just in her element. She's spinning around. Her hair is phenomenal. Her dress is flowing. She knows what she's working with, and that's what I really love about Venus moving through the sign of Pisces. We just have this like ethereal way of approaching the things that we love. We're totally drawn to like the mystical, the mysterious, the beautiful, the stunning. We have this veil over our eyes, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's very romantic. It makes life, it like puts this like pink rose-colored lens over our perspective of the world, so we can just see things in a more like sparkling light, and there's nothing wrong with that. Also, more people are apt to meet their soulmates and twin flames during this time. That's because Pisces works with soulmate, twin flame, and just totally unconditionally loving energy, and also like this extra vision and ideal of love and relationships. And Venus rules relationships, and Venus rules money, and she rules beauty and aesthetic. So all of that is just kind of heightened and magnetized, and that's something that we're going to be experiencing and loving for the next few weeks. Earth signs and water signs, rejoice. This is going to be the sign for you. For air and fire signs, you guys are like, yawn, in some ways. Maybe it does benefit you if you work your magic right. If you are going to set intention for this week and for that time when that happens next week, definitely work with money and attraction, oil spells and love spells and beauty spells and glamour spells, anything to entice and to make life more easy, effortless, to make you more attractive, to bring things into your life. That's what Venus and Pisces is going to do for you. Also, this is a great time for those who are creative, for those who are writers, for those who like to paint and be artistic. Work magic and spells for that too. As Venus moves through the sign of Pisces, that's going to happen again on the 10th. Yeah, and if you want oils for that, you can find those in my shop. The shop in the apothecary is now officially owned, officially opened, And I do all of that here within my own workspace. You can't see it right now, but these are predominantly the, well, there's herbs on the top here, there's herbs down below, and there's herbs right behind me. There's oils upon oils upon oils upon oils upon oils. Over here, fire, magic. This is where I do most of my work, and then where I do the rest of my work is on the altar, which is behind where I'm recording now. So everything is always charged by the light of the moon. Intention is put and infused into everything. I've been working this almost my entire life. It works for me every single time. So if you do need a love spell, or a money and abundance spell, or the goddess vibes oil, or the fertility oil, or attraction type of oil, or a custom oil, all of those things are available in my shop. The links for that are down below. Moving forward, Sun is going to be squaring off with Jupiter on the 10th. This, I had the feeling, the biggest feeling, to warn people, do not overextend yourself. Do not push it real good. No, don't overextend yourself. Don't overdo it. Don't overeat. Don't stress yourself out. Don't be too lazy. Don't be too pushy. Too much of anything is too much. Don't do it. And the reason why I'm saying that and seeing that is because it's not only one transit that makes me bring a message to you guys. It's the chart as a whole. Again, I can't ignore the fact that Saturn just recently moved into the sign. And as far as recent, I mean within the last few months. So it moved into the sign of Capricorn. This, because it's so brand new, Saturn is beginning to show and reveal itself. Saturn is a planet you do not want to mess with. You want to make sure that you're not wearing anything down or grinding anything down. Saturn will break whatever is weak. And Sun squaring Jupiter, if you overdo it, if you overextend yourself, if you push yourself, you will get sick. You will break down. You will have a breakdown. You will create a problem that could be long time, that you're not gonna love, that you're not gonna like. And Saturn needs time, because it's such a slow moving planet. It needs time to begin to reveal itself, and it starts off small, and then those issues get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and snowball until there's an avalanche. So I have to say that this could be a triggering point for many people on the 10th. I say be very mindful and careful of your stress levels. Be very mindful and careful of your indulgences. What is it that you're indulging in? What is it that is tempting you? Just be aware of it. It's kind of like this little bacon, and you have high blood pressure and heart disease. Don't eat that bacon, okay? Put the bacon down. Go get a healthier snack. And I have to tell myself that all the time, because although a lot of my products are vegan, well, every product that is within my shop is vegan and earth friendly, I do like to indulge in a bacon for brunch every other weekend. Brunch is my thing. I love brunch. So I do like that. So moderation is everything, and the habits that you are building during this time can make or break you. Now, before I end this reading, I did want to share a message with you guys. There are 2 words that came to me, and there's also 2 cards that jumped out. And when I say jumped out, they flew across the room, as they tend to do. And those cards were, and I'm working with my mini deck. If you need me to show you the exact link of what deck it is that I'm working with, I can comment that down below and put those in the bio. Hopefully I remember. I'm really trying hard to remember. These cards, I love them to death. But anyways, it's the Page of Swords and the Ace of Wands. This is all about energy building up and messages coming in. So again, this element of surprise, remember that I was talking about on the 7th, is really here, nice and strong. So definitely be open to that. Watch what comes in, watch what flies in. Comment down below what surprises and unexpected developments are happening within your own life. I would like to hear them personally. It also binds and builds our community even stronger, which I love that about us. Page of Swords is all about things moving very quickly, so don't be surprised if it's a text message, a phone call, an email, things happening really, really fast. It's almost like someone throws open the window and this bird flies in, and it's like just flying around in your space. So that's the energy that I see here. But either way, it's something to raise your passion, raise your excitement, raise your enthusiasm. That's Ace of Wands in a nutshell. It's a new opportunity, a new venture, something to excite you and to entice you. And also, in a lot of ways, it could be attractive and something that you find sexy. So those are things too to be aware of. The two words that came to me this week are peace and receptivity. I can never say that word, probably because sometimes I struggle with the word in my own life. But this is all about having peace for yourself, falling into alignment with what brings you peace, not compromising that, and being in a space to allow that to come in. If you're doing the most, it's time for you to sit back and to receive. The universe is very abundantly filled, and there is no coincidence that the Empress and this energy of reception and receiving is here very, very strong for us for the last, especially myself, in the last few months. Okay, so I love you guys so much. One exciting development that I did want to talk about is the fact that Tarot School, the Sacred Circle Tarot School, that's a mouthful, is finally open, and I'm enrolling students now. The initial phase of accepting students has started late last week. I still have a few more spaces available for this circle. I am keeping the circle very small, under 20 to 30 students. I haven't decided yet, but that allows me to give one-on-one attention to every single student. When it comes to mentorship, learning the tarot, it's for beginner to advanced levels, but beginner to intermediate students are going to learn and experience the most. Advanced are going to learn more about the tarot than they really were expecting to. I do have a gift of knowing the tarot pretty thoroughly and also understanding the tarot, but also I've done a lot of study as far as the symbolism, the spiritual connection and the meaning behind each card. And I'm so excited finally to share what I learned with you guys, and also to show and to teach even further how to incorporate your intuition with merging with the deck, and how to read for a complete reading. The links for that are down below, but also again, remember that space is limited, and once it's closed, you'll have to wait until a month later, maybe around March or later than that, in order to re-enroll, in order to enroll. So if that's something that you might be interested in, or if you do want to connect with some tarot enthusiasts and to work with me one-on-one and other people who are like-minded, then that is there for you. Okay, the details for that are down below. In the meantime, I love you guys so much. You have no idea, and we'll talk soon. Bye.